Hey everybody, it's Roy from ANSgear. We're going to look at a new bolt from RAP4. It's for the 98s, A5s, and X7s, most of your Tippmann line. It is a all aluminum, which is different from the other one, which is a plastic version. It does have an internal O-ring, which seals better on the power tube, so you're going to get better consistency from shot to shot. You're going to get better altogether wear. It is a polished aluminum surface, so it's going to slide nice and easy through there. Plus the bolt that the O-ring that they're using at the front of the bolt is a little bit larger to seal when it does get into the barrel assembly. So just an altogether a better upgraded bolt system for your A5 or 98 or X7. I'm going to show you how it installs in there real quick. It's a pretty straightforward install. If you've ever opened up your gun, your 98 or your A5, you'll know how it works or how to get into it. So we have a 98, a Platinum Series here, 98 Custom. We're going to put this one in it. At least walk you through the basic steps on how to get everything out, where it goes, and then putting it back together is pretty straightforward. We'll put the stuff back together and we'll lay it all down. You can see how it goes. So to make it a little bit quicker, I have already removed the feed neck off of there as well as the front foregrip. The less parts you have laying around, the easier it will be to work on a thing. So whatever you can remove off of a gun, always remove it. It does make it easier to work on. I've also already done all my screws so that we can open up the gun and get to the parts. So we'll go ahead and take the back half off first. When you're working with any Tippmann gun, be careful when you're taking off the halves of your gun or separating the bodies, because of all the pins and springs that do run the trigger assembly. You can lose them if they were to just shoot out. So be very careful when you are taking your halves apart so you don't lose anything. So that's going to come off of there. Our trigger guard, we can move that out of the way. It's usually going to fall out anyway, so just get it out of the way. We're going to take our front half off now. I do recommend kind of holding on to the bolt or the bolt assembly here. You've got your hammer, your power tube, and your bolt up there. Just hold on to it so that it doesn't want to move or pop out when you're releasing all your pieces here. I can open this up, get that out of there. So that popped out of there. Now, if I wasn't holding on to this right now and that popped up like that, this whole thing would have come out, and that would have been a lot of parts all over the place. So as we see it right now, we've got our bolt, our power tube, our hammer, our valve is inside the power tube right here, our drive spring and our drive spring guide, and then our back cap. And this is our linkage arm that runs up across right through here. Kind of see there. So what we want to do in the easiest way possible is to get the bolt out. Now, since these all are kind of conjoined together right now, the easiest way to do it would be to loosen up, if you can, your connection between the valve and your hose. If you can do it by hand, you can twist this down. And that's going to move this big block you see. It's going to move it up. And that's going to make it able for us to pull it out right there. This is just a compression fitting. It's not Loctited or Tefloned into place. When you tighten this back up, it'll push this end against the valve and make everything nice and snug and airtight inside there. So now we've got that disconnected. You can, if you're careful, you can lift this up and take your power tube off and move it out of the way. You want to remember that this is under pressure back here. The spring is trying to drive this hammer forward. So if you're not careful and this comes out of position, it'll just pop right out and things will go everywhere. So be very careful with that. If you do need to take it all apart, you can lift out the back, pull out your spring and your guide pin and your back plug. This O-ring is meant to float around inside there. It just goes around it. There isn't a place there's no groove for it or anything like that. It is just a bumper. It's a buffer, so when the hammer comes sliding back, it doesn't smash the cap. It hits the O-ring and works as a bumper back there. And then we could pull this out the rest of the way if we needed to. So we'll pull our bolt off. See, there's our old bolt. There's our new one. There you can see that red O-ring on the inside there. Maybe you can see it. So that O-ring is going to seal around the power tube. When this comes forward and air transfers through the power tube, through the end of the bolt guide here and out the bolt, that O-ring is going to make sure that all that air goes out the front rather than escaping backwards or just getting lost. So you're going to be using more air than losing. So that's good. So we'll put that to the side. I'm going to go ahead and install this back in. So when we install it in, we want to make sure that our valve, the part where our line is going to hook up to our valve, is facing down so that we can hook everything back together. We're going to need to make sure that our hammer goes into our power tube and that our linkage arm, which is this piece right here, hooks into our bolt. So we'll hook everything together, get it all into position right there. So we've got everything lined up. Make sure our detent is still in the right spot. Everything is secure, and that's in our facing down position. Now we can go ahead and put our hose back together, making sure that it tightens up against the valve properly. And I'm actually spinning this part right here. I'm not spinning the big block. I'm just kind of spinning this section right here. So it's moving up, the block's moving down, and it's going to tighten as it pushes against each other right there. And then we're going to put our spring in. Make sure our plug sits in the right spot. Make sure all our pieces are right. Always check your trigger spring, your sear spring, all your pins to make sure that nothing has moved out of position while you've been working on the gun. And then we would go ahead and close it all up. So the first piece you want to put on is going to be, actually no, it's our front, sorry. We're going to put our front on. So that's going to sit in there like that. We bolt it all down, take our back, make sure our trigger guard's in place, put that on, make sure everything does drop into position, that all your pins go into the right spot, bolt it all down, and then we're ready to go. So that's our Venturi star bolt from RAP4, all aluminum, O-ringed inside and out. Going to give you great seals. It's going to boost your air efficiency, going to give you great shot-to-shot consistency, and altogether just a stronger polished aluminum surface, so better just movement, less wear. So if you're looking to upgrade, you want to get more out of your gun, check it out. The Venturi star bolt from RAP4. It's available through the website. Order yours now through ANSgear.com.